Hey everyone, thanks for checking out my article again this month. This month I talk about 5 tips for finding and booking models. So models are part of the 3-step formula that we use with our photography studio, Salvatore Cincotta Photography. Models, as I talk about in my article, are the #1 finicky variable of the process. So finding models, people, anything is one of the most difficult things to do when you're planning a photo shoot because you are relying on another person, most of the time another person that you don't know personally, so you're hoping they're a reliable, responsible resource for you to get the shots you need for your portfolio. So when it comes to building your portfolio, when you're starting out, you typically don't have the largest budget to work with. So introducing the model aspect to your portfolio building isn't necessarily about booking the top models. It's about getting the shots you need to start booking business, to start making money, to eventually be able to start booking models from agencies. So when you're first starting out, there is no harm in asking a friend, a family member, an employee, or even a complete stranger to help you build your portfolio. So when it comes to a friend or an employee in this situation here, as you can see, these shots are actually both pictures of me. What you want to do if you're trying to make it so that, maybe you have one person that you can always rely on, or in this situation, you have an employee. I travel with Sal constantly, and a lot of times we'll find locations that we don't have time to plan. It's impromptu, and we've got 20 dresses with us. Throw on a dress, get in the spot, we need the shot. What we do then is you have options. You can pose the person so they're facing away from camera. Pose the person so they're looking to the side, to where that person's not necessarily recognizable, so you can continue to use this person over and over in your shoots, and it doesn't look like you only have one person. You can also do stuff like this where you silhouette the person. Again, making that model, that person, unrecognizable, so your shots don't all look like the same person. Tap into your friends. So this girl is one of my best friends. This is her actual fiance. We needed to do a shoot for school of photography, so I reached out to them. Hey, can you guys model for us? Sure, no problem. Everybody wants pictures of themselves, especially for somebody like this. They got engaged. They were engaged for 4 years before they even picked a date. So to have engagement photos, I think it kind of lit the fire in them to actually pick a date. And after the shoot, they actually did finalize a date for their wedding. So, they did this for free for us in exchange for photos. We also brought them in. This is a huge thing when it comes to reaching out to your friends. And I'll talk about this later as well with reaching out to past clients. But friends, bring them in for a sales session. I think we ended up having a monster sale from them. And it wasn't an expectation. It wasn't something like when I asked them to model for us, not even a little bit in my head was like, oh, we can make some money off this. No, it was, hey, we need some pictures. You guys are beautiful people. Can you model for us? Just icing on the cake for us that we got some extra cash from it. So another thing you can do is reach out to a complete stranger. So this guy, Heather, of course, obviously somebody we've worked with in the past, but we needed a male for this shoot. And at the time we were looking on Model Mayhem. We didn't have budget to reach out to an agency, so we were looking for a specific look from a male, and we couldn't find anything on Model Mayhem in our area. So Taylor at the time actually was at the mall, and she saw him at, I think it was a Clinique counter at the mall, and striking features, gorgeous jawline. She just went right up to him. And language is key. Like, you don't want to be creepy about this, especially if you're a guy and you're wanting to approach a female in public, somebody you've never spoken to. You don't want to be that guy that's like, hey, can you take a picture with me? No, you want to seem professional, but you also want to be personable, and you want to, make a joke out of it. Be like, hey, sorry if this is totally creepy, but I'm doing a photo shoot. I want to build my portfolio. You have exactly the look I'm going for this idea for my shoot. Would you be interested in modeling? And then gauge their reaction from there. If they seem hesitant about it, just move on. They're obviously not going to be interested in it, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there's nothing wrong with reaching out to a complete stranger to ask them to model for your pictures, because today's society, narcissistic, everybody wants their picture taken. So reaching out to previous clients, this is huge for us. So we've had a lot of seniors come through that we have had the best time working with. And when it comes time and you have an idea for a shoot, or you're, like for Sal, he does a lot of training. Other photographers will come in and train with us, and they want to learn how to build their senior portfolio. And we want to add to our senior portfolio, try new stuff. Like when we launched Inception, we wanted to use a lot of these dresses in real life shoots. So we reached out to previous clients that we know we enjoyed working with. We know the way they photograph. And language, again, here is key. You want to make sure that it benefits them as well. I can't imagine any client who has been with your studio that you enjoyed working with didn't also enjoy working with you, didn't also enjoy the images that they got from their wedding day, from their senior session. So why wouldn't they want to come in again? And this goes back to what I was just talking about with friends and family, is with previous clients, they know your process. They know the sales experience, so they understand when you do the shoot, it's just the natural progression of things to come in later for a sales session. Another potential revenue stream for you. And what we do for these people who do, like previous clients who will come in and model for us, we offer them a free 16 by 24 canvas for their time. Huge benefit for them. Next up is social media. So as we started to learn the world of modeling, I guess, we started following these models on Instagram. And there's an entire world of Instagram models, Insta famous. And this girl specifically, her name is Malaga. We worked with her in LA. Sal and I had both been following her for a couple months, and we were going to LA for something else, and he's like, hey, let's do a shoot. Hey, let's reach out to this chick and see if maybe she's interested. So I found her contact information on Instagram. She's got like 1.5 million followers or something like that. Incredible. She looks like a real life Bratz doll. I don't know if you know what I'm referring to, but Google it. I mean, she's just absolutely stunningly beautiful. I reach out to her, and come to find out, she is agency represented, but for some reason her agent doesn't book her. So she has a separate email. It's her friend who kind of serves as a second agent and actually gets her these side shoots. And I mean, she was eager to work with us, very responsive, very responsible, reliable, was on time, and so much fun to work with. It was a whole new world. But so follow models on Instagram, and once you start following one, a few will pop up like recommended. Just follow the ones you think are pretty, and if you ever get a chance to go where they're located, reach out to them. There's nothing wrong with reaching out to these people, because truthfully, the worst thing they can say is no, I'm not available, or no, I'm not interested, or they just don't respond at all. Who cares? Move on, go to the next one. Same with Facebook. So Facebook is nice, especially if you've got a decent following. You can post a casting call on your own page, and what we've found is a lot of the people following Sal, if we post something, they'll start tagging people that they think would be good for this. So not only does that get the word out, but it also kind of spreads awareness for your work out to people who may not have had access to your page previously, or even known you existed. So you can do that way, or you can actually go through Facebook groups. So most major cities will have like St. Louis Models and Photographies, these groups. They're usually private groups. All you got to do is request. If you're an active photographer and they can go to your page and see that you are a photographer, typically they'll let you in. We've had no problems. And then once you're in, you can put casting calls up on these pages as well. Or you can browse through their photos, and if you find somebody, like an image of a model who's tagged in it, and you like her look, his or her look, you can reach out to that person directly. Next up is Model Mayhem. So this is where we really started, when we started doing tours and workshops and had to book models. Model Mayhem was the go-to spot. Unfortunately, Model Mayhem, the caliber and the quality of the person on Model Mayhem, whether you're the model, the photographer, the artist, whatever, it's hard to trust the reliability in these people. So when we first started using Model Mayhem, probably 3, 4, 5 years ago even, we would have shoots and we would book a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C. 3 sets of models. We would be booking bride and groom typically for these workshops. And we would book 3 sets of models because based on experience, the first set would not show up, the second set would not show up, and the third set would hopefully show up. So it was always about just CYA, cover your ass. And it's just a very stressful way of doing things. So we started to get lucky. We started to change the way we were reaching out to people, change the amount of money we were offering people. A lot of these models, especially if they're good quality models, they don't want to do that TFP, the trade for photos, time for photos, whatever you want to call it. A lot of them are actually working models, and they're agency represented, but also get on Model Mayhem to book their own stuff on the side. So they're investing their time, you're investing your time. If you want the right caliber of model, I highly suggest offering money for the shoot, money and images. So if you don't want to promise any images from the shoot, offer a little bit more money. But if you do promise images, you can come down in your price a little bit so they're getting the best of both worlds. So, we worked with individuals. This is really easy, a lot easier to book an individual model because then you're working with the one person all day. You know her look. You're not having to worry about the connection necessarily, but you can do fashion stuff, bridal portraits, anything like that. This girl, we booked her in Prague. She was 6'2", I believe. Just absolutely beautiful, sculpted like a Roman sculpture. She was incredibly beautiful. And then we've also booked couples. So in this situation, what's interesting is I booked the female model, and then I know that we need a bride and groom shot, so I'll reach out to the bride or the female model that I already have booked and say, hey, do you have a spouse? Do you have a male model you've worked with in the past? So that there's this level of intimacy that you're able to see on camera, that connection that'll change the way your images look. So next up, agencies. Once you get to this level, once you have the budget for this, I highly, highly recommend it. We rarely don't use an agency now. We know by booking through an agency, they're going to show up on time. These are people who do this for a living. So they know their body, they know their face, they know their angles, they know how to work the camera. It really does make a difference in your images. So here's an example of an individual through an agency. We're able to get creative. She was barefoot on this rock. It was freezing. It was raining. Then it was snowing. Then the sun was out. It was a mess that day. But, she nailed it. We actually had this feather piece, we actually had it stuck up in the back because Sal wanted this, headdress look. But it wouldn't stay up straight. It kept falling down. So we took a stick, shoved it in the back, and it was going up, to almost the top of her neck, a stick, and then tied to the head or the neck piece. So trooper. And these people, they understand that you have to sacrifice a little bit of your comfort to get the right shot. These people they understand they're being paid for it. So they will work for their money for sure. This one I showed in here, the couple version, to just kind of show you the difference between a couple through an agency. So they are not a real life couple, and you can tell the chemistry is not quite there. So we always prefer working with, when it comes to hiring a bride and a groom, working with real life couples. So I hope this helps. Again, your best bet in these situations, it's all about the language. And in my article, you can read specific language. I put it all out there, exactly what we say to these people when we're reaching out to ensure you're getting the quality and the right people and the right price. So check out my article next month. I'll talk to you then.